We be live.
Hello, everyone.
Are we annoying people with this? When I say we be live? Because if yes, then that's great.
We're having fun. So
No, if you're annoyed, let me know in the live chat so I could do it even more. I'm just kidding.
so we can get that extra.
Tell me all the things that I do during these live streams that annoy you, so I can make a list and do them extra.
You were nothing if not consistent in your attitude.
We love our community so much that we want to annoy them. Okay, so we're gonna
welcome everybody to another episode of Atheist Republic News.
Yes,
this is the attitude we're heading into this week with.
This is why we don't grow, because
no, it's because of you.
yeah, because this is how we treat our community.
You again.
Yes. AJ said, keep annoying the SHIT out of us. It's part of your charm. Oh, okay. All right. No, I was going to say something. Anyway, so we're going to be covering the news on religion, atheism, secularism, politics. And we sometimes have some news to get the people that get annoyed and say, what does this got to do with atheism? We usually have something especially for annoying those people. Like
not on purpose.
No, it wasn't on purpose to begin with, but now it's sometimes on purpose. Like, we need to cover something to like make those people pull their hair out and then ignore them when they ask us, what does this got to do with atheism? But usually most of the news has something to do with atheism, religion, secularism,
or free expression,
culture. Sometimes some things seem to have something to do with religion or atheism. And people are like, oh, this is because of Islam or Christianity. But the entire point of including them in the news is to show like, maybe not, right? Because as atheists, a lot of us have a knee-jerk reaction to blame everything on religion, and sometimes it's not because of religion. So like something happens in the UAE, people are like, oh, this must be because of Islam. And we're like, is it though? Is it here? Maybe sometimes, yes, it is. And we pointed out when it is, but here, like, or is this because of Hinduism? We don't know about that, right? So, we'll see. Anyways, what is? Oh, wait. Can I clap for the first news?
No.
Ooh, crap. All right, first news.
45 people crushed to death during Israeli religious festival. So I wouldn't be surprised if most of our audience has already heard this news. On April 30th, 2021, 45 people, including 5 U.S. citizens, were killed and about 150 others were wounded in a crush at a mass Jewish gathering overnight at Mount Vernon in northern Israel. Each year, hundreds of thousands of Jewish participants pay homage to Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, a 2nd century sage, at his burial site. Investigators are examining how the accident happened at the mountain. According to the volunteer-based emergency organization, United Hatzalah, around 100,000 people were in attendance this year. Social media video from the site shows people crammed into passageways, while suddenly many are struggling to continue walking and thrown back and forth in waves of commotion. Shimon Levi, Israel police's northern commander, stated that the police command had prioritized security and public safety, but he could not reveal what caused the stampede. Lazar Hyman, vice president of United Hatzalah, said that it was one of the worst disasters he had ever experienced.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know how to do commentary on this. This is obviously extremely horrible, and the faults are at the people. You know, this is something that was being brought to attention to the to how this is a security risk for years now. Like this was an accident waiting to happen. So I don't know if this is not a religion problem specifically. This is just a poor management problem that what people didn't pay attention to. The part that is a religion problem doesn't even have to do with this thing that happened. I mean, during these times, which we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, during the times that we're at with the beer bug, with the whole thing that is going around, with the disease and stuff. Religious gatherings seem to be common. These people don't seem to pay attention to the fact that they shouldn't be gathering like this.
Well, I don't know about like the people in attendance, but one of the reasons why the event was allowed to go forward this year, despite the beer bug going around, is because over half of Israel's population has gotten the thing that they put in your arm. I don't know what I can talk about on YouTube.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not the people that are at these events.
Yeah.
Because they're very resistant to do. By the way, guys, the reason why we're being so careful is because YouTube gave us a strike for talking about this without us actually so we're trying to be very careful. Here, do you want to read this?
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yuval Berger has a very good comment. He says, this also has to do with the excessive power ultra-Orthodox community has in politics. The event was authorized despite the risk because of political pressure. And I think that's a very good point. Rivka, who unfortunately couldn't join us today, brought to our attention a story about how female soldiers were attacked by Haradim while assisting at this disaster. So that's another word for the ultra-Orthodox community. So there are like these female soldiers who are going in to help and trying to help injured people or trying to pull out like bodies, basically. And they were assaulted because they were women touching the male bodies at this event. They were kicked, they were spit on, they were punched for like trying to help at one of the worst disasters in recent years.
I do want to be careful though, because a lot of atheists, actually this might be a good time to talk about this, because this is a tragedy. And I do think like sometimes the atheists will try to highlight this stupidity of religious people at times like this. And to me, that seems like sometimes it might come across as, without saying it, to be suggesting like, well, these are idiots and they are bringing this upon themselves. And I think that's a horrible way of looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, the highlight of the story is that people died, and nobody deserved to die like this, no matter what their beliefs are, right? And just being like, oh, these are religious people, they shouldn't have done this. Oh, this is like, oh, like here, I'm gonna highlight some. Sorry, I know this is bad, but it's not like I know I'm putting you on the spot, but like stuff like this. Apparently, they didn't have that much faith in their God. Like,
what about this has anything to do with not having faith?
I mean, I know, like,
let alone blaming someone for their own demise.
Yeah, I think like trying to make fun of people's beliefs at a time like this is trying to take attention away from how bad of, like, it seemed like as atheists, without us mentioning it, we're like secretly, like, without being so obvious about it, are saying, ha, look at this idiots bringing this upon themselves. You know what I mean? We have to be very careful to just not be tempted to even look in, like, reflect on yourself emotionally and see that is sympathy the first thing that you feel, right? Because if the first thing that you feel is, oh my God, these people are idiots, then you're being extremely tribal. You know what I mean? You're an atheist and you're looking at religious people, and when something bad happens to them, if you're like even some part of you that is celebrating it, then you maybe have to go and reevaluate your priorities, right? And your ethics and your morality, especially the people who might say like, oh my God, Darwin Award, stuff like that. That is like, let me see actually if anybody said that.
No, do you want to see something really bad?
What? Show me.
It's from the Freedom from Religion Foundation too.
Show me. What?
Give me 30 seconds. Oh wait, here we go. Do you see this?
Oh no.
They tweeted the news, and then where was Jehovah when we needed him?
No, this is not a good tag. I mean, I love the Freedom from Religion Foundation, but this is not the time to point at.
They got roasted for this.
Yeah, come on, guys. This is not the time to highlight people's bad beliefs.
Yeah.
Right? This is not the
Muhammad called them out so hard.
Wow, I'm on Yasmin's side on this one. Yasmin has recently had some really bad takes, but on this one, I'm on her side.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's saying, delete this vile tweet. You would never say, where was Allah when we needed him, in response to Muslims trampling each other in Hajj every year, which, by the way, guys, that does happen.
Yeah, you should
die at Hajj at it every year. But it's okay to make light of Jewish deaths.
This is a very bad take from Freedom. Like, people are...
Yeah.
I actually could come up... Wait. Go back to Freedom from Religion Foundation, right? Imagine saying that in response to the... I'm not going to say it because YouTube is going to think like we're saying some bad stuff. But the event that happened... The Hala, the Big H, right?
Yeah. Or
imagine
even like the event that happened in New Zealand inside of a
No. I want to say Yahweh himself. Like, let's say like, where was... Imagine putting a picture of the Big H event in Poland during World War II by the Yazidis in Ush thing. Again, I'm using quoted word because I hope you guys get what I'm talking about, because YouTube might think like we're saying some naughty stuff and get another strike, right? Which we're not. I'm just saying, imagine putting a picture of that and putting the caption, where was Yahweh when we needed him? I mean, I don't know. I mean, actually, I'm not against that because that's not making light of it. But this seems to be making light of it. Yeah, this is sick. This is not right. This doesn't seem right. Yeah, guys, when people die, the highlight is that people are dying. Again, sometimes you might want to think about, bring up religion and analyze the situation. That might make sense because you're trying to find a cause, because you're trying to figure out how you could avoid this happening again.
Yeah.
Right? It's not because... So, for example, if there's a school shooting, right? And people say, well, it's because we didn't have God, we took prayers out of school. And then there's a shooting in a church, and then we'd be like, well, you have prayers in church, why do you have shootings there, right? This is not making light of the situation. This is trying to highlight to people that you have misidentified the cause of this event in hopes to try to bring attention to the actual cause so you can avoid things happening again, right? But this is not that. This is just be like, see, the subtext of this is that maybe you guys deserved it. You know, it comes across like that. It's like, these are people that are suffering a tragedy, and you think that this is a good time to make fun of their beliefs. This is really bad. This is a really bad take from...
when I was looking for this tweet, I was shocked that they hadn't deleted it yet.
Yeah, how come they haven't deleted it yet? That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I didn't see any form of like apology or anything on there. Twitter. But yeah, people were not happy, including my favorite, Siraj Hashmi, put them on the list, which is the list of people who need their phones taken away for bad tweets. Yeah.
Okay, but guys, I don't want
good.
to completely dismiss the Freedom from Religion Foundation
Of
as a
course
whole.
not.
They do amazing work, and one bad tweet shouldn't make you completely dismiss everything they do. And this might not even represent the entire organization. It might be
completely not.
might be their social media guy is just bad, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but again, the fact that they haven't taken it down also seems pretty bad.
Yeah. But that was like the perfect example of like what you were talking about.
Right.
Now Rumia is saying a tweet in really bad taste. FFRS must take down their tweet and apologize.
Yeah. What is this one? This seems long, but let's highlight it anyways.
I think this is just rambling.
Too long. Okay. Katie is saying, but the F, yes.
Goes Bunny FFRF. Where's your humanity when we need it?
Oh yeah, she's saying this is saddening and
sickening. Really bad taste.
Yeah. All right.
Still one of the most important secular organizations in the country. That doesn't mean they're immune from really crazy bad tweets.
Yes. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have bad takes that we're not gonna be able to see that are bad takes. Like even when people pointing out to us how bad of a take is, maybe like we're blind to it and we don't recognize it. And I hope that if once Atheist Republic has something like that, and we have people are as forgiving to our bad take as we are being to FFRS. Like yeah. So again, that doesn't
already had some bad takes.
yeah. That doesn't mean we're not gonna call it out. That doesn't mean that we're not gonna at all apologize for it or make excuses for it. Is objectively a really bad take. However, we have to see the entire organization as a whole, and the good that it does is net positive. All right. Okay, cool. Can we clap for the next news?
It's not good news, but let's clap.
Okay, never mind. No, I won't.
Okay.
Next news.
Next news. Ex-Muslim Nigerian activist Mubarak Bala illegally detained for over 1 year.
Illegally.
So guys, I wanted to talk about this news because it has been over 1 year since the Nigerian activist Mubarak Bala has been detained. And so because the year mark has passed, I wanted to, acknowledge that and talk about his case. So Mubarak Bala, the president of the Humanist Association of Nigeria, was arrested at his residence in Kaduna State on April 28th, 2020. He was taken to neighboring Kano State, where religious figures had made calls for action against him. The United Nations has denounced Nigerian authorities for failing to release Mubarak by stating that his detention is a flagrant violation of fundamental human rights. For background, he had posted comments critiquing Islam on social media that caused an outrage among the predominantly Muslim northern area of Nigeria. Mubarak was denied contact with his lawyer or family. Through his continued detainment, the government is sending a message to the radical groups that the silencing and threatening of human rights defenders and minority and non-believers is acceptable. In December 2020, Nigeria's High Court ordered his release on bail and damages of 250,000 naira, which is approximately almost $700 USD. Yet officials have proceeded to detain him. Mubarak's lawyer stated that the police detained Bala on a quote-unquote a holding charge, often used in arbitrary detention where formal charges are not presented. Amina, Mubarak's wife, described the psychological toll on her and their 1-year-old child as unbearable emotional trauma. So
You want to read what AGA is saying?
Yeah, AGA is saying this has been going on far too long. Judge ordered his release. Cops used a loophole to keep him, denied access to a lawyer. Yeah, everything about this has just been like calling it a miscarriage of justice, I feel is like sugarcoating it.
What's their motivation?
I think a lot of it has to do with validating hardliners.
Why?
Like this, because they have power. They're the majority, especially in the northern states of Nigeria. It legitimizes their radicalism towards blasphemy, where persecution for alleged blasphemers is severe in Nigeria. People get their homes burned down, whole communities destroyed. Guys, this is my own personal speculation. Okay, I do not know what the genuine motivations are. But there are extremely credible threats to his life in Nigeria, even if he is released. I mean, there were months throughout his detainment where almost 6 months where people didn't even know if he was alive.
And what can be done?
I think stuff like this is really important. So
share this video.
Right? Yeah, talking about the fact that he is still detained. It's been over a year, 1 year exactly, on April 28th, where he was detained, and he was taken from Kaduna, which is less heavily Muslim, and I believe that is not where Sharia law is enforced, and then moved to Kano, where he faces a much more extreme penalty, which could even be death, according to how they enforce Sharia law there. And so he was moved to a much stricter area where his life is much more in danger, and then continuing to deny him access to lawyers for months on end. In the ruling that originally got him arrested, well, it wasn't a ruling. Some lawyers filed a petition against him. They said that he basically compared a local prophet to the Prophet Muhammad and was like calling them terrorists. And I'm paraphrasing. If you watch this video by Humanist International called "Humanist Leader Arrested in Nigeria," you can actually see what he wrote. But they called his criticism of Islam xenophobic and racist.
The hell?
Which doesn't make any sense.
Oh my god. Xenophobic and racist? Him?
Yeah. For him, an ex-Muslim, like the son of a cleric.
The son of a Muslim cleric. Nigerian son of a cleric, ex-Muslim son of a cleric, is being xenophobic and racist because of his comments on Muhammad.
Yeah.
Amazing. And this is a judge. This is not just random people on the internet.
No, it wasn't a judge. It was the original lawyers that filed the petition against him.
The lawyer. This is lawyers. This is not like somebody tweeting this. This is a lawyer saying this.
No, guys, you should go find the petition that initiated his arrest online. Because in the petition, an argument that the lawyers make for his arrest is that basically it was very similar to the communal disharmony argument that's made in India, basically saying this person, by exerting these words, they're what we would call free expression. They are going to cause this other community to cause violence. So it's basically victim blaming.
No, the lawyers were
and perpetuating bigotry of low expectations on the Muslims, because it's saying like you have to arrest this guy because Muslims are going to be. I don't even know if I should finish that sentence.
So I think Muslims in Nigeria needs to be offended by the people who are putting this man in jail more than the blasphemer, because what the petition to put him in jail was claiming is that his words is going to cause violence. So I invite Muslims in Nigeria to come out and say, how violent do you think we are? How sensitive and how little do you think of us? Like, what is this? You guys are putting this man in jail because you are claiming that his words is going to cause violence? This is your statement on us is more offensive than whatever he had said. That's what the Muslims should come and say. Like, no, the lawyers are offending us.
When this first happened last year, when I still had Twitter, I had a whole thread, like, basically about this point of, like, they are actually being insulting to Muslims with the way that they justify his arrest. Narumi is saying Nigeria, for all intents and purposes, is a failed state. Mubarak Bala, I disagree. Mubarak Bala is in prison, but terrorists who kidnap school kids roam free. Now they're kidnapping college students too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are bad and
those are very
inconsistent.
separate issues, I feel like.
No. You're right on the inconsistencies, but a failed state, it takes a lot for a state to be called failed state. Like, injustice doesn't make a state failed state. Like, you have to have the government at near of collapse for a state to be considered a failed state. And Nigeria is not even close to that. Nigeria is going to be one of the leading economies in Africa, growing. And in fact, Nigeria is going to be a major battleground for atheists and secular activists. It's the country, it is going to be one of the most populated countries in the world, the way that it's going.
It already is.
Yeah, but it's going to be even more like in Africa, it's already number one, I think. But in the world, is going to be like, I think, one of the top 5 at some point. I forgot the numbers.
I think it might already be number 6.
Economically, it's also going to grow really fast. And it's a country where both Islam and Christianity are major sources of conflict. And the fact that there's 2 religions is going to make it even harder to... and atheist activism and secular activism and humanist activism is huge in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, we need to do as much as we can to provide, the platforms and the resources and the attention that the activists, atheist activists in Nigeria require. I'm also very, happy with some Nigerians who are like just so transparent about their activism, even though like these are people at the front. Like, given the risk, it's amazing that they still do this, right? Just to make something clear, this man, right, Mubarak Bala, who is an ex-Muslim in Nigeria, because he's from a Muslim community, he has a Muslim background, they get to do this to him. If he was from a Christian background, these laws wouldn't apply to him in Nigeria. Is that correct?
They wouldn't be as severe. There wouldn't be the potential, the death penalty.
Right. So basically, Nigeria has 2 different laws for different groups of people.
Yeah, they have a form of, I think it's called customary law.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and he can't even make the art, guys, for those who are like, oh, well, he's an atheist now. Well, no, you can't make that argument. He was born a Muslim. So if he leaves Islam, then he is still subject to Sharia court because he's an apostate.
You know what does it say about Islam, where because of Islam, Muslims are subject to harsher laws in the same country compared to other people? Like, this is Muslims putting a semi-apartheid situation, inflicting a semi-apartheid situation on themselves. Like, it's not like somebody is coming and enforcing them to be treated as second-class citizens. The Muslims are inflicting harsher punishment on their own community compared to other citizens of the country. Like, hey, let's make ourselves lower class citizens and apply semi-apartheid situations. So that's amazing. It's amazing.
Like where their own law basically supersedes constitutional law.
Right. Like, this is when we say Muslims are the main victims of Islam, this is one of the this is one
This
example.
is an example, and it's also that's just statistically a fact.
Yeah.
In so many different ways.
God.
But yes, guys, I wanted to talk about this because, you know, there are a lot of atheist political prisoners around the world who are still detained, or he's been detained without charge. There are other people who've been charged with offenses that, you know, we think, well, for maybe in fact, you know, violate various aspects of human rights and international law. Like people who have been charged with, you know, blasphemy, you know. So he's not charged. Even if he was charged, we'd still oppose it. And we can't forget about them. Their cases are ongoing. They're still imprisoned for ridiculousness, for exercising their free expression. And that's wrong. And yeah, so I'm going to continue to keep an eye on his situation. And
thank you, Susanna. You've been really following this case, so that's amazing. That's really good.
Oh, wait, before I close, I do know that there was supposed to be a hearing before the federal high court on the 20th of April, but it was closed due to some issue. So, you know, the high court ordered his release in December. It hasn't happened. There was going to be another hearing about it in late April. It's going to be rescheduled, so I'm going to be paying attention to that.
Okay, I'm going to go for a really quick question break. Can you read some comments while I'm gone?
Oh, okay. Narumi is saying, good job, Susanna. I hope he's free soon. Well, thank you. And I certainly do. What is... Because of Islam, the minorities always suffer more than in any non-Muslim country. Bit of a generalization, but likely true. Music guy is saying Susie takeover. Narumi's asking what happened to Rivka today. She couldn't make it. Oh, he's back.
Can we clap? Oh, you want to read this one? Last one before we go.
Ishaq Ibrahim is saying, in Nigeria, the Sharia also applies to Christians too in northern Nigerian states that implemented Sharia. Kano State implements Sharia, which applies to Christians too. Yeah, but my understanding is that, I could be wrong, but the penalties aren't as harsh. So like, in a northern state, like a Christian could still be punished with Sharia or punished for blasphemy, excuse me, but they would get like a fine. So I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. Is there a place to a link where we can offer support? Humanist International does a very good job of updates on his case, so I would tune in to them. And they also have a full website that gives the latest on him. Can't remember it off the top of my head. Shoot, Mubarak.
We have the link to this news in the description, and the link to that news links to everywhere else that you need to go. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
Yeah.
Next news.
Next news. Pakistani government refuses to compromise on deadly blasphemy law.
Wow.
So, this is very interesting for several reasons, and we're going to get into it. This is time for me to be a blasphemy nerd. Okay, so the European Union announced on April 29th a resolution that claimed the judicial procedures in blasphemy cases in Pakistan are highly flawed due to the low standards of evidence required for accepting blasphemy allegations. The Pakistani government has decided not to compromise on the country's blasphemy law and the law declaring the Ahmadi community as non-Muslim. However, the government will introduce new legislation concerning various aspects of human rights in line with its agreements with the European Union. Prime Minister Imran Khan on May 3rd held a meeting to review the EU Parliament's resolution. Pakistan would suffer an annual loss of $3 billion if the EU revokes its GSP plus status, which is, I can give a summary on what that is in a second. According to the EU resolution, the accused are often presumed guilty and have to prove their innocence rather than the reverse. The European Parliament has called on the European External Action Service to use all the tools at their disposal to assist the religious communities and pressure Pakistan to do more to defend its religious minorities. Despite the very recent ban on the extremist religious party, TLP, on April 20th, the Prime Minister of the Interior announced a resolution on the removal of the French ambassador to Pakistan would be presented to the National Assembly. Imran Khan has spoken out against this removal.
Wow. So wait, the French are leading again when it comes to upholding secularism. That's great.
Not France specifically, but the EU.
No, yeah, but when it comes to ambassadors, it's the French that are wanting to call them back. That's pretty good, I guess.
No. So the hardliner party that is like Islamist, kind of almost founded on anti-blasphemy fervor, they were banned. Now, they were banned and marked as a terrorist group because they had...
Guys, we say terrorist instead of the actual word because we're trying to not to trigger YouTube's sensitive algorithm. But go on.
Yes, because they were protesting and even held like a dozen policemen hostage, holding the police hostage, a political party, because they want the ambassador from France to be removed from the country.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard it.
And so the Minister of the Interior...
For the Muhammad stuff, for the stuff that France is doing for secularism and basically defending the cartoonists and stuff like that. Okay, yeah.
Well, what France is doing is defending free expression, and Pakistan doesn't like that.
Okay.
The government has made... They've said we support free expression. They've made no
all right, I got it.
Ruling on the nature of Charlie Hebdo cartoons, or they just say that blasphemy is a right.
We're getting too much into detail. But
anyways, So what that, just to put a bow on that, so the TLP wants the party, the French ambassador removed. They got banned because of their violence regarding this demand. Despite their ban, due to this motivation, the Minister of the Interior announced a resolution to remove the French ambassador.
Okay.
And
I really want to go back to
spoke against. He didn't approve of this removal, or he has spoken out against it previously. But that's not the main news I want to get to.
Yes, I really do want to go back to that main news. But it comes to how many? You said how many billions dollars per year?
$3 billion.
So the meeting. So Pakistan could lose up to $3 billion a year if the EU revokes its GSP plus status and because of its human rights record. Okay. So how likely is it that EU is going to revoke the status? Is this highly likely?
That I don't know. But given that the government had an extremely negative response to this resolution and basically doubled down, again, I don't know the likelihood, but I would think given the government has doubled down, it might be more likely.
Right. So let's try to think about this. Why would the Pakistan's government, and I already have a guess answer for this, would risk something like this, like between, like, I know a lot of us, our community, think like, oh, because they care about Islam so much, but no one cares about Islam this much, like $3 billion, like potentially losing $3 billion a year. You might pretend like you care about Islam more, but you don't, right? So why? So strategically, why would they risk like such heavy pressure from the international community and potentially losing so much money and stuff like that, and trade, and and still insist on keeping the blasphemy law? And let me see, like, don't answer it yet. I just want to see if anybody in the live chat is gonna
I
know
have
that.
an idea.
I have an answer.
But for those who are not aware, GSP Plus, and this is a very big oversimplification, is like trade incentives. And as Pakistan demonstrates more progress in implementing like these international core conventions, they are given more and more trade incentives.
Okay, so I think Doorknob have got it. It's because they're more afraid of the radical Islamist groups in their country, like the threat that these groups, these groups have in their country to Imran Khan's government. It's more, yeah, exactly. Goddess Katie got it as well. Afraid of the far right people inside Pakistan and the violence. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's an existential threat to their entire existence, right? Like,
yeah, like their physical safety. I actually had a different theory.
What was your theory?
Well, it was a little bit more geopolitical. They could be leaning more towards China, who won't necessarily put pressure on them
No, that can't be the answer, because they won't lose China if they get rid of their blasphemy laws. You know what I mean? Like, getting rid of like, they could keep China and they could still have like deals with the EU and more deals and more safe deals, security when it comes to their deals with the EU. If they just get rid of the blasphemy laws, they could be like, yeah, we like money. We like money from China. We like money from the EU. We like money from everywhere. So why not get rid of the blasphemy laws? Well, because, as Katie's saying, afraid of the far right people inside Pakistan, because that is, they wouldn't be empowered to enjoy the trade agreements if they give enough ammunitions to these, far right Islamist groups. Right, so I think that's the answer. Do you see what I'm saying, Susanna? Like,
yeah,
getting rid of the blasphemy laws, it's not, China is gonna be like, oh, I'm so offended that you got rid of the blasphemy laws.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not that China would be upset that they got rid of it. It's that, like, China is less likely to pressure them to remove it.
Okay, so let me rephrase what you're saying, right?
What I'm saying is that they could fall back on China.
I know, but I'm saying that $3 billion a year is still good with or without China.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe the way what you're trying to say is that the reliance on trade with Western countries is less of a threat to Pakistan, given that they have China backing them up. Like, so that's maybe another way to phrase it. You want to say, Katie? You want to read what Katie's saying?
Yeah, Katie's saying the Pakistani government is run with fear of the extremists inside the country. It's more like the military and the mob running the country.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. And I'm guessing that's my guess. I'm not saying that's it. If you guys have your own theories or hypotheses, or let us know in the comment section. Let me actually load a whole bunch of articles.
But I also wanted to just highlight, one thing I really liked about this news is that the EU is making this a priority, even.
Really?
I thought that was very positive, that they're putting forth this issue, raising awareness about it, saying we even will take away economic incentives from you because of these abuses. Like, this is what I want from governments.
EU has recently stepped up its game when it comes to upholding human rights. Is this like, I don't know how long this is going to last, but I hope it's like, I was really pessimistic recently because of China and all about how much of an enforcement on human rights globally is going to be possible. But I don't know. It might be nothing, but somewhat like trying to be a little bit optimistic seems like, I know it seems naive or not, but I do want to have a little bit of a hope for EU and maybe the Biden administration upholding human rights. I know it seems naive, but I'm going to be a little bit optimistic, just a little bit, and then take it back as soon as I'm proven wrong. Okay.
But I thought it was awesome that they put this forward as an issue and are potentially willing to revoke $3 billion a year over a free expression issue. Like, yes, thank you. More of this. Because a lot of people don't even think about blasphemy in their everyday life and how it affects people. But to have the entire EU pressuring the world's worst offender on blasphemy issues about this is awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I hope we see more of this. Can the ISIS, again, we're not going to read it fully because
no, it's not ISIS, just ISI, Pakistani intelligence.
Oh yeah, organize a no, it's not the ISI you need to be worried about. It's the radical groups in Pakistan, and also now that Afghanistan is going to be handed over to the Taliban, the effects on that on Pakistan, that's also is going to be a major threat. Those are the Pakistan, man, is like such a scary, like the direction Pakistan is going. Pakistan is just there to make India feel good about itself. I'm convinced now. I think India just created Pakistan. India just created Pakistan so that no matter how much crap happens in India, they could always just point at Pakistan and say like, well, at least we're not like them. That's the the entire reason for the existence of Pakistan.
Oh my God.
It seems like it sometimes. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Let's clap because it's just religious leader ridiculousness.
No, read this one. This is
nice. The rabid atheist is saying optimism is a positive human trait, Armin. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's sometimes
thank you,
hard.
rabid atheist. We need to reinforce this more in him.
Yeah, but sometimes optimism can be seen as naivety, so that's why. But thank you. Yes. Anyway,
I don't think you're one of those types. Never be accused of that.
All right, next news. Wait, did we say we can clap?
Because it's nonsense, and I'm about to give someone a smackdown.
Next news.
Pakistani religious leaders claim not a single case of blasphemy laws misuse.
What?
You cannot find me a single case of blasphemy laws being misused in Pakistan. It's impossible. Not one. No.
Okay, read that again, but slowly.
Pakistani religious leaders claim, quote, not a single case of blasphemy laws misuse.
Is this
reported in the country?
Onion. This is the Onion? No.
No. This is a real news story.
This is actually okay.
So.
Is this guy? What the? Nah.
This is a follow-up. Armin, no, don't leave. Oh no, it's Susie takeover time.
All right, it's okay. I'm okay.
So this is kind of building on our last news story in regards to this resolution by the EU, kind of a continuation of it. Because I found this EU resolution very interesting, so I wanted to talk about multiple aspects of this. But like Armin, as you can tell from his facial expression, I also could not believe the claim of this specific religious leader. So on April 1st, Haifiz Ashrafi, chairman of the Pakistan Ulema Council, or PUC, stated at a joint press conference with representatives of different religions and religious sects that the EU resolution on Pakistan's blasphemy laws was based on ignorance of facts and false propaganda. According to him, not a single case of abuse of blasphemy laws was reported in the country during the last 6 months. He stated that the laws of Pakistan guarantee the protection of all citizens' rights. He invited the representatives of the European Union and the U.S. ambassador for religious freedom to visit Pakistan to find out these facts. He insisted that some individuals and institutions wanted to damage Pakistan's dignity, honor, and relations with other nations by spreading propaganda.
You first have to have dignity and honor to be able to lose it, you idiot.
Oh boy, shots fired. He added that the instances regarding forced conversions reduced significantly during the past months. He demanded the international community respect the sanctity of all religions. Ashrafi noted that he and the Prime Minister Imran Khan would go to Saudi Arabia on a 3-day visit to discuss applicable legislation regarding quote-unquote Islamophobia and blasphemy with political and religious leaders.
You know, I know people in the live chat are pointing out like any use of blasphemy laws is a misuse of is a misuse. Katie was saying that. Who else was saying that? Atheist on YouTube was saying that. But I'm hearing a bit echo. But honestly, like even among religious leaders who believe in blasphemy laws, this is even by that standard, this is like a hot take. You know what I mean? Like, because at least even the people are like, oh yeah, it needs to be illegal for you to insult Islam or the Prophet or Allah stuff. They're like, yeah. There are some instances where enough evidence, like, oh yeah, there are many cases in Pakistan where people took the law into their own hands. There wasn't enough evidence before they put somebody to jail, and the process is so slow. You could accuse somebody in Pakistan and they sit in jail for so long. And they might be innocent, and it takes too long for us to prove that there's no evidence, and then they get free. And yeah, those are the issues, and we need to fix that, and some people are suffering from that. But of course there needs to be blasphemy laws. Of course, people who like insult the Prophet, they need to get the death sentence and stuff like that. Yeah, of course. I mean, like we're not like barbarians. We have laws here, right? However, it's true that we need to fix our laws so that people who are not actually blaspheming against our beloved Prophet don't get so much hardship. Like that's the position of a lot of like at least the average religious leader, I think, in Pakistan. I mean, like what was her name? Aisha Bibi? What was her name, right?
Yeah,
she was Asia Bibi. She was the Pakistan's court system decided that there's no evidence for her. I mean, how does this guy explain that? She was let free because it was deemed that there was no evidence for her blasphemy, right? So this guy, given that he wants to defend Pakistan, was the court right or was the court wrong? If the court is wrong, well, then you have a problem with your justice system. You don't seem to want to accept that. If the court is right, then well, an innocent woman was kept in jail for so long for doing nothing wrong. Again,
on death row for 8 years.
On death row for 8 years. So even by your own standards, even by the standards of like, okay, yeah, we need death sentence for people who commit blasphemy against our Prophet. Even by that standard, you had a woman who had no evidence for blasphemy on death row in prison for 8 freaking years. How? I'm not even judging you based on atheist blasphemy laws are stupid standard based on Islamic standards. How you can't even justify this?
Yeah.
Anyways, you want to show something? You seem to have something up.
Oh, okay. So I would like to hit Haifiz Ashrafi with a couple of cold hard facts, okay? Because I like those, and this is something I'm into. So I would like to, Yana, I would like to present the 2020 USRIF report titled "Violating Rights: Enforcing the World's Blasphemy Laws," page 8. Okay, let's see here. 10 countries account for more than 4/5. That is 81% of all reported cases of state criminal blasphemy enforcement. Okay, so this is when the state actually takes action to enforce a blasphemy law. This is from a period of 2014 to 2018. Okay, this is the most recent data we have. The top 10 countries were coming in at number 1, Pakistan, with 184. Followed by second place, Iran, 96. Okay? We're talking about the second place is nearly half, almost half of what the first place is. Okay? First place, Pakistan, is more than Iran and Saudi Arabia combined. Okay? And Bangladesh. All the places on here where it's actually punishable by death, all those combined is still not Pakistan. Okay, there are other countries in here.
They're all justified, so you can't prove
there
that
are
they're
other
not
countries
all...
on here where it's not punishable by death. Of note, 70% declare Islam the official state religion. Okay, so that's just one little teaser right there. And again, this isn't even recent. Okay, the most recent data was 4-year period from 2014 to 2018. The most recent collected data we have. Okay, so you're telling me that all 184 of these cases, that all of them, there wasn't any misuse there?
Yes.
And then let me go to the next page. I present to you this map.
Oh.
Okay, this is a little bit different because this is incidents of mob activity, mob violence, or threat, or threats of mob violence in state-enforced criminal blasphemy cases. Okay, so sorry. Let's zoom in a little closer because I wanna get a good look here. Oh, for the love of God! Come on, Adobe, don't do this to me.
Don't blame Adobe, it's your computer.
Shh. Here we go. Thank you for your patience. Oh, what do we have here? We have 212 here in Pakistan, blowing every single country out of the water.
Okay. Here's the thing. There is... bring it back. Jesus.
Oh.
No. Oh, God, that was...
Sorry.
Not that. No, I would need to comment on that.
There we go. Sorry.
All right. So, Pakistan is 212. Iran is 96. It might make it seem like Pakistan is worse than Iran. The issue is that none of those 212... What happened?
I don't know.
None of those 212 in Pakistan will actually execute the death sentence by the government.
By the
right?
government, no.
Right. Yeah. By the people, maybe.
This
by the
212
mobs.
does include, mob lynchings.
Oh, okay. The problem is in Iran, even though the blasphemy accusations are lower than Pakistan, the government actually does carry out death sentences from time to time for blasphemy. But overall, the people that die in Pakistan for blasphemy is higher than in Iran, not because of the government, but because of the mob. Am I correct? Like, actually, the people who die in Pakistan because of blasphemy accusations is higher than in Iran.
I think so.
Yeah.
On an annual basis, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Iran is number one, number two when it comes to death sentences as a total number, but number one if you adjust it per capita. And number two after China. I think number one in the world when it comes to just like per adjusted for population. However, most of those death sentences in Iran is for drug-related issues, which is not justified though. Like, I guess all form of death sentences. But yeah, let's read this while before we go to the next news.
It's Narumi is saying, going by this infographic alone, India is worse than all Muslim majorities except Pakistan and Iran. That in itself is an achievement of sorts for the world's largest democracy.
Wow, good point actually. What is this number actually? What is this counting?
So, wait, let me pull up this window again.
Exactly. Like, it's counting blasphemy accusations, or I thought it was like legal sentencing.
The orange circle represents the total number of incidents, which include cases of state enforcement and incidents of mob activity, mob violence, and or threats of mob violence. So it's both state and non-state in one.
That's a pretty good report. Does it like, if I want to go back look at this later, does it break it down to like state versus mob? Like,
yeah, actually right here.
Oh wow.
You want an answer? Right. I got an answer for you.
It's like right below. Okay. That is pretty good. This is a really good report.
Yeah.
Is it?
Guys,
yeah.
Check it out. This is for free on the internet.
Okay.
I'm obviously a huge nerd, and the USRIF is an amazing part of the U.S. government. I like their reports.
All right, cool. Can we clap for next news?
Just a second.
Ooh, no. We might get no. I'm not gonna clap for this. Not because anybody died, but because we gotta get canceled if we clap for this.
Definitely.
Next news.
Louise.
Wait, you muted yourself. Oh wait, she needs to go. She needs to go to the washroom. All right, let's talk to the live chat first before. The problem, Katie is saying the problem is this only has the reported cases. In some places they take many cases into record. Yeah, but it's still better than nothing. Like, it's at least some data. Anyways, can we go back to the next? Can we go to the next news?
Yeah, sorry about that. I just needed to re-plug in my mic. So next news: Louisiana Republican leader uses Bible to defend the "quote unquote" good side of slavery. So this is wild. And it involves a little back and forth. So I'm going to break it down. Recently, Martha Huckabee, the president of the Women's Republican Club of New Orleans, defended slavery. At the beginning of May, the Republican-dominated state legislature was debating House Bill 564, which bans the teaching of racism or sexism in public schools. Which is insane. I don't know how you can ban teaching kids about racism or sexism.
Okay, I wanted to see what she actually said, because Hamad Mehta sometimes exaggerates so sometimes like they actually didn't say what Hamad Mehta say in the title they said, but I'm gonna see what the actual quote is, and it's really that bad. Is she actually defending slavery? Let's see.
Okay, so they were debating this bill. Fellow Republicans recognized this bill as an attempt to whitewash the past, micromanage teachers, and stifle free speech. State Representative Ray Garofalo insisted that he wants students to learn the good, bad, and the ugly aspects of slavery.
Oh my God. Okay.
In turn, Republican State Representative Stephanie Hilferty opposed by saying that there's nothing good about slavery. Garofalo defended himself by stating that he just meant he wasn't trying to stifle legitimate academic discussions. he's not saying that there's really something good about slavery. He's just, it's a turn of phrase, the good, the bad, the ugly,
Okay, so she
And
didn't
so-
actually mean it.
Well, those were two other representatives. Okay.
Okay.
They had this back and forth. At which point Huckabee jumps in, and Huckabee went after Hilferty for challenging Garofalo and stated that Hilferty was twisting Garofalo's words. So she's basically saying, he's not really. Well, actually, no, she's not saying that. She argued how would Hilferty know that there's nothing good about slavery since she did not live through it.
Oh no! Okay, so she actually is saying there's a good side of slavery.
Yeah, Huckabee said that slavery goes all the way back to biblical times, and that many slaves loved their masters, and their masters loved them. No. She noted that anyone who was questioning her perspective on slavery is a quote-unquote foolish troll.
Oh my God. Okay, so Hamed Mehta is right. She did actually double down.
Yeah.
That person, so the first Republican, so wait, correct me if I'm wrong. One Republican said like, oh, I didn't actually mean good. This is like just a phrase. And then the other Republican, Martha Huckabee, like, hold my beer. I'm going to actually.
Yes! Yes!
Actually, no. We do mean the good side of slavery. It's in the Bible. Read your Bible, people.
Yes.
Wow.
It's crazy because, like, the way that I did it, so this one woman saying, like, I wasn't there. I'm putting my own spin on this conversation. So this guy's saying, hey, we shouldn't support this House bill because we want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of slavery. And another person goes, oh my gosh, you're talking about the good side of slavery. And so then they go, no, I don't mean good side of slavery. It's just, I'm just talking about academic discussion. It's just a phrase.
Right.
Okay, this is me simplifying this conversation. And then in turn, the other person goes, you don't know there wasn't a good side of slavery.
I mean, it's in the Bible. That's what you're saying.
Argument you make.
Oh no! I mean, to be fair to Martha Huckabee,
oh no,
it is in the Bible.
No, I mean, okay, yes,
it is. It is consistent with Christianity that slavery is completely justified, right? So. I mean, thank you for like showing people what the Bible. Yeah, we need more. Like, I'm actually going to encourage this.
Wait,
I want more people. I want more people to actually know what's in the Bible. Wait, is this?
Wait, no, scroll down. No, not that. I want to see the screenshot. So this is where this is coming from. This is so wild. So there was like a news clip. Talking about this House bill. And so this woman posts on her Facebook, what is Stephanie Hilferty doing here? Why is she trying to trap a Republican and twist his words? How does she know 100% that there's no quote good side of slavery if none of us were around during slavery? Weren't some of the slaves treated really well? I know in the Bible they were.
Oh my God. This is great, actually. No, please continue. Please tell us more about your teachings in the teachings of the Bible. Yeah. I have a question though.
I was like, holy cow.
Who is this Martha Huckabee? Is this anything? This has nothing to do with the other Huckabee, right? No.
Martha that's spelled differently. I think it might be pronounced Huckabee.
It's just a GOP leader. Okay.
Yeah. So she was talking about these two representatives and their back and forth, and she posted this on like her Facebook. And she is not a representative like the other people were. She's the president of the Women's Republican Club of New Orleans.
All right. So what about the part of the Bible that tells you to go kill a whole bunch of people, including their women, children, and donkeys? And wait, like there's a calling for God. Yahweh asks the Israelites to commit genocide at some part in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, Martha, if I say there is no good to genocide, is she also going to come and say, how does he know 100% that there is no good in genocide if none of us were around during a genocide? Right? Is that what she was saying? Weren't some slaves treated really well? Okay, didn't Yahweh command the Israelites to commit genocide? Right? I know in the Bible they were, right? So based on her own standards, Martha, you could say the same thing about genocide. What was the Bible verse about Israelites? You know which one I'm talking about. It was at Jericho, right? And they were attacking.
I don't know the verse and chapter off the top of my head.
Yeah, of course. I didn't expect you to know that, right?
I mean,
The
there
battle,
are people who do.
yeah, the Battle of Jericho is the Canaanite genocide. It should be Joshua 5, 5:1 to 6:27.
Well,
Go,
wait, really
yeah.
quickly. Hammett himself makes a good point in this article. He said, "Interesting how Huckabee knows a great deal about about the Bible, given that none of us were around when it was written."
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
but
that's the point.
no, but the idea that you had to be there to know slavery is wrong. It's insane. You could say that. Well, I mean, again, Martha Huckabee, have you been there when any genocide happened? If not, are you not? Do you not feel confident to say genocide bad always, all the time, even if you were not ever involved in it? Like, you don't have to be involved in it to be able to justify that. No, but overall, this is positive. I want people to go actually read their Bible to see. Like, she's not wrong. If you're a Christian, you should be on her side. Like, you should understand that this is completely a Christian view, unless you don't agree with the Bible, or at least not the Old Testament. You could, like, yeah. But then you have to ask Jesus, why did he say that he's here to uphold the law, the old laws, the Old Testament? So, anyways, I'm so glad I'm not a Christian because I don't have to defend nonsense like this. Anything in the live chat that we have to highlight?
Marcia is saying Republicans scare me. They are so out of touch with reason and common sense. They hide behind the Bible, and the Republican drones follow the line. Not all of them.
No, I would say all of. I mean, not all of them are defending Christianity, but if you're a Republican, you're defending some sort of nonsense. Maybe not all of them the Christian nonsense, but you have to believe in some lunacy to be a Republican.
Well, it's also just American politics. I'm forced to put up with lunacy as a Democrat.
Right.
Like, what are these people doing? Especially in my city. Oh my goodness.
I would say, like, republicanism is actually even more dangerous than just mere Christianity right now in the world today.
Ooh, bold claim.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, yeah, I think republicanism in the world today is more dangerous than mere Christianity. Given their I mean, Christianity doesn't objectively have any stance on global warming, right? But Republicans do.
I mean, they're like dominionists who make claims about that kind of thing.
I know, but it's not very straightforward. Like, you
you
can't get that directly out of the Bible, right? But Republican ideology, you get that out of them, and that is extremely dangerous right now to our planet. So yeah, as it stands right now, republicanism is more dangerous than Christianity. Okay, can we clap for the next news?
No.
Okay, next news.
This is terrible, actually. Okay. So, 2 women tortured in a sorcery-related attack in Papua New Guinea. In Papua New Guinea, 2 women, after being accused of witchcraft, were brutally attacked in Port Moresby by 20 men. On April 25th, the women were tortured and burnt with hot irons for hours in a settlement in the capital. One of them managed to escape and got rescued by the police. She mentioned that she was being questioned by the perpetrators and forced to admit to the murdering of a woman who died earlier in the week. Police found that the other woman lying in a garden, badly wounded and tied with ropes. Community leader Elliot Raphael said that the situation needed to be needed to be found. Said that the situation needed to immediately address violence against women. Oh, solution. I apologize. Superintendent Gideon Ikumu of National Capital District, or NDC, a metropolitan, noted that 20 men fled before the police arrived at the scene, but that their identities were known to them. Sorcery accusation-related violence, or SARV, is persistent in Papua New Guinea. This latest attack provoked outrage among senior police officials and politicians. Pawes Parkop, NDC governor, stated that the fact that such an incident could still happen in the capital city shows the Papua New Guinea is a long way away from ending gender-based violence and sorcery accusatory violence in particular.
Okay, I must admit I don't know much about Papua New Guinea. I didn't know that witch hunting is something that was happening at that corner of the world.
Me neither, which is why I wanted to cover this.
What the hell? Like, this is neither Middle East or Africa or South America. And so, yeah, this is new to me. What is this ideology? What is it? Is this like, how common is this over there?
Well, apparently there has been a rise of sorcery-related sorcery accusation violence recently.
What is this? Okay. And based on what ideology? Is this like Christianity, or like is affected at least by, I mean, they are mostly, it seems like it's a mostly Christian country. Is it influenced by Christianity?
I don't actually know. I'm going to make that assumption, given the Spanish history of the region. So I'm reading from a different article in The Guardian. Sorcery violence, known as sorcery accusation-related violence, or SARV, is intractably persistent in Papua New Guinea, and little is done to address the issue, according to a Lutheran missionary based there. Okay, here we go. Papua New Guineans' ideas about Sanguma, black magic or witchcraft, and sorcery are regionally diverse, logically contradictory, change over time, and spread to new places and people where they mix with other pre-existing beliefs. And they are used to justify their illegal violence against vulnerable people. The killings are often unspeakably violent. Women, and most victims are women, are gang raped, beaten, and burned. They are butchered with knives. In July last year, and this article was posted in November 2020, reports emerged from the Highlands village of Karida of the slaughter of 10 women, 6 children, and 2 unborn babies, hacked to death with machetes. And this is following murders of 7 people in the village the day before.
Okay, but again, did I miss it? Is it because of Christianity?
No, there's a lot of diversity in the beliefs about these accusations.
Given that it's a Christian country, does Christianity have an influence in this ideology? In which, I mean, the Bible says you should kill witches. So, are they influenced by that at all, or this is some pre-Christian, pagan, or native religions?
It's not clear to me, so I'm not going to say one way or the other. But it reminded me a lot of the violence towards alleged witches in places like Nigeria or other parts of Western Africa.
We know that's Christianity. Okay, so here's the thing. In Africa, when there's witch burning, we know that that's mostly because of Christianity.
Yes.
Right. But here, I don't know.
What I thought was interesting in the comparison I saw, regardless of me not being, very well versed in the origins of this violence in Papua New Guinea, is how it often targets women. What stood out to me about this story of these 2 women is that they are being tortured and accused because of the previous death of someone else. And again, this is just me drawing, loose comparisons and similarities. That's very common to what happens in parts of West Africa, where women and old people in particular are often blamed for like any ills that happen in that community. So if that someone dies or gets sick, like these vulnerable populations, and I'm speaking right now about Leo Igwe's work in areas of Nigeria, and I think Mali. I think I'm wrong on that.
So wait, did you?
It's very frequently a way to just target vulnerable individuals.
Did you mention that they were burning somebody for 1 hour?
The article on the subject said that they were burned with hot irons for hours.
Hours. Okay, this is God damn it! I'm gonna have nightmares. You want to read this?
Goddess Katie is saying apparently there are not much legal consequences for witch hunting either. Yeah, it's a huge problem. There was something I wanted to say about the legal aspect of this. Katie is saying an Australian study found over 1,400 cases of torture and 600 killings, found less than 1% of perpetrators were successfully prosecuted. Dang. Katie, how fast did you look this up? Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm also asking Katie to look how much Christianity is an influence. Narumi is saying it's not much of an influence, but Narumi is a Christian, so I don't trust her. But hold on, let me also, Carlo, you're completely wrong. You say Christians don't follow Old Testament. It's been abrogated. It really depends on your brand of Christianity. There's this whole idea of following or not following Old Testament has been an ideological battle between different sects of Christianity
from the birth of Christianity.
From the birth of Christianity. So just saying that they don't follow Old Testament is just like such a generalized way of looking. No, it's not that simple.
Learn about the Ebionites.
Yeah. and what was the other people?
Marcians.
Marcians and the Ebionites. Yes, go look at their history. All right, cool. Katie finding. Okay,
Katie's saying can't find exact connection, but some sources say that it is a severe lack of education. I would assume traditional superstition has to play, but it might be inspired from the Bible. Yes. So, one thing I do see, or is my understanding, is that it's extremely diverse. So I think it's very difficult to pin it on one thing or another, but it's obviously superstition based.
Okay, read that one while I grab the next article.
Oh my gosh. In 2017, a 6-year-old girl was tortured by some men for accusations of sorcery in Papua New Guinea. Yeah, so again, very similar to what happens in parts of Western Africa, where it's frequently children and women. And in Africa, I don't know about Papua New Guinea, it's frequently older women or old people in general who face a lot of serious violence from these accusations. But the graphic details of what happens to people in Papua New Guinea are shocking. Oh man. I saw somewhere something about a law.
All right. Let's just go to the next news. Wow, Argentina is on the next news. Can I clap for the next news?
No, it is. Guys, I'm so sorry that the news is not very good this week, and as in uplifting. Because this is.
Oh, wow. Okay. What the hell? What's happening this week? I mean, we usually have bad news, but this week is like extra gory and horrible. Okay.
I had a hard time finding good news this week. So guys, actually that is a good call. If you have more uplifting news, please go make it as a suggestion in our Discord server. Join our Discord server, link in the description. We have a whole channel called News Suggestions, and I go look at that to see about what we should talk about this week or any week. And yeah, there was I especially after last week, I really tried to look for something positive. The last news is positive, but it was hard this week.
Anyways, hold on. Let me unclick this. All right. Next news, I guess, right?
Yes, next news. Argentinian nuns accused of abusing at least 20 deaf children. On May 3rd, 2 Argentine nuns of the Provolo Institute in Western Mendoza went to trial for their part in the sexual exploitation of at least 20 deaf children. The abuse took place under their care between 2004 and 2016. That stood out to me because oftentimes when we're covering news about like Catholic sexual abuse, like usually happened like 20, 30 years ago. I was like, no, this is very recent. Kumiko Kosaka, a 46-year-old Japanese nun, is the main accused on trial, facing charges of aggravated sexual violation and covering up the crimes. Argentine sister, Paraguayan Asuncion Martinez, 53, is also accused of exploiting minors and hiding the crimes. 7 other accused female employees joined the embattled nuns, including the Institute's legal representative, in-house psychologist, cook, all 4 directors, for their complicit role in the frequent abuse in the school. In 2019, Argentine priest Horacio Corbacco, 60, and Italian clergyman Nicola Corradi, 84, were sentenced to more than 40 years in prison for fostering a society of sexual exploitation and harassment within the Provolo Institute. The Provolo Institute was established in 1995 in Mendoza. The boarding school granted free education to underprivileged children with hearing and speech impediments. The facility has since closed.
Okay, look at what I have on the screen. Read this. Look the place I paused the video. Read this.
It says gold cross necklaces as a signal to other clergy. No,
that the children were prior victims and optimal targets for more abuse. Are you freaking serious? They use gold crosses to signal to other. This is not real. This is not real life. To other clergy, use gold crosses to be like, they marked the children with gold crosses. I'm so speechless right now. I don't know what to say. Optimal target for more abuse. How do you not think that you're evil? You're using the symbol of your religion, which is a cross, to mark children for sexual abuse. I don't understand how evil you can be. Like, how many people were involved? How did these people
so many people are going to trial for this. So many people are going to trial for this.
How many people? How do these people live with themselves? Like, I don't understand. I don't like this level of evil is not. It should not be humanly possible.
They didn't teach the kids sign language, so they couldn't ask for help.
They didn't teach them sign language so that they can't ask for.
They're literally children who cannot communicate to anyone what's happening to them.
I have no words. So I have no words. I don't know what to say. I want to call it get triggered and call it out, but I just think there's no reaction that will be enough. I want to get angry and shout at the screen, but I just think it would just all of it will fall short. This is too much. Like, I don't know if we can top this. Holy
Some
crap.
victims were as young as 4 years old.
This cannot be real. This is just too evil to be real.
Yeah.
Like, you can't write a story. Like, if you write a story like this, people will call it bad writing because you made the evil people seem too evil. That it wouldn't be true in the real world. You know what I mean? You went too overboard with making the people evil. That doesn't reflect reality. That's how bad this is. God damn it. How is this not headline news everywhere?
I think it was higher in the news when the main priests behind it were sentenced to prison in 2019. And I don't know if there's a better way to put this, but the only good thing is that they are prosecuting, it seems like, everyone. It seems like they're just clearing house. So obviously, not obviously, two of the biggest perpetrators were this priest and this clergyman. And so, but they didn't stop there. They're going after everyone involved. They're going after anyone who was complicit, who knew about it, covered up anything. So that includes the facility's own psychologist. That includes their legal representatives. It includes even their cook. Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, if you are like a Catholic right now in Argentina, and just after hearing this, I'm hoping that is this headline news at least in Argentina?
I don't know. I don't follow Spanish.
I mean, if you still donate to the church after this, then you go.
And guys, this is the country that the current Pope hails from.
Is the Pope saying anything about this?
I can't remember. But I mean, I do know that he's talked about the general problems.
Just shut it the whole thing down.
He got.
Shut it down. Honestly, if you're the Pope, if you have any conscience, you should just come out one day and say, you guys, we're closing down the Vatican. This was an experiment. It did not work. This is a crime against humanity. This whole organization is a failure. It's one of the worst things that humanity has to offer. We're closing down the Catholic Church. We're closing down the Vatican. I should be ashamed. Every single one of you that has ever participated in any Catholic church or donated to it should go and reflect on what you're supporting and be ashamed of your contribution to the world. And we're shutting this whole thing down. And the fact that we're shutting it down, if you're the Pope, if you do anything short of that, then you're evil, right? And you should be like, I'm sorry, I'm ashamed. I should have shut this whole thing down from day one. And the fact that we weren't forced to shut this whole organization down, it should be a shame on the modern society that I'm actually voluntarily now shutting this down, that we weren't forced to do it by powers that be.
And I feel like the Catholic Church has kind of tried to, there's just a multitude of ways in which it's tried to skirt its sexual abuse problem. But I think one way that they tried to spin it is that, in the past probably 10 years, a lot of the stories that come out are stuff that happened, in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and those people are still alive. So I'm not trying to in any way minimize or brush off what they went through. They still live with that trauma and PTSD every day. But I think the church kind of tries to play it off as that was a past generation. They also get to skirt it because a lot of those people have since died. and like, oh, we're taking efforts to address it, we're fixing it. That happened like 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's different now. This happened 2004 to what, 2016? Like, it's still a problem. They haven't fixed it. It's still ongoing.
Do we know if the Pope has even addressed this at all, like this specific instance?
The rabid atheist is saying the Pope has said very little about this. Makes you wonder.
I mean, it's his country and it's his church. It doesn't get more relevant to Pope Francis than this. Honestly, how could he not? He should be on his knees now, crying and begging the whole world for forgiveness. This is... These motherfuckers talk about original sin. God fucking damn it. And then... I don't know. I don't know what else. I'm done with this story. I'm about to lose it. All right.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of articles about his silence or even his role in abuse that was going on in Argentina. On a totally separate case. So...
Even if he's not part of it, the fact that he is even slightly, even if you're remote, even if you are a person that has heard stories like this and donated half a cent to the Catholic Church, congratulations, you're now part of this whole thing. You are involved in making all of this possible. Good job. Anyways.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. That was one of the news items where I was like, I don't even know if we should cover it this week because it's just so awful. But it wasn't getting a lot of attention. And I thought it was worthwhile to highlight, how recent these crimes were committed, how recently this happened.
All right.
But,
can we clap for the next news? Never mind. I'm not going to clap at all.
The last news we can.
Okay, next news.
Next news. Gossip reporter says that she was beaten for not wearing hijab in Gaza City, Palestine. Rewa Murshid, a Palestinian reporter, was recently beaten with branches for not wearing a hijab by a member of the Hamas-run border patrol in Gaza. The Islamic militant group, Hamas, has promised an apology and said that it would punish the man. The incident highlighted Hamas's occasional brutal treatment of both reporters and women in Gaza. On April 25th, Rewa was filming at a privately owned farm near the heavily guarded Gaza frontier when two members of a Hamas-run border patrol approached and asked them to identify themselves. An argument broke out, and one of them cut a branch off a tree and hit her. A statement was issued by the Palestinian Journalists Union condemning the attack. The incident sparked debate on social media in which some took her side, while others condemned her behavior.
Wow.
In 2020, the International Federation of Journalists reported 76 cases of media rights violations by Gaza security forces and 42 by Palestinian Authority security forces in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Mershid was moved by the supportive messages she received on social media, but she says that she no longer feels safe in Gaza.
Yeah, Gaza is crazy. Gaza is a lot more radical than the West Bank. Yeah, it's not safe for women to be there. I know like a lot of people feel like if they want to defend human rights in Gaza and call out any crimes they want to highlight by Israeli forces and stuff, they have such a black and white view on this that they completely want to dismiss how radical and how religious and how conservative the Palestinian community is, and they feel like
some of the most conservative in the world.
Yes, it's crazy. Like the average Palestinian view is really bad compared to even other Islamic countries, right? And it's really bad because a lot of leftists think that highlighting that and mentioning that is betraying their taking the side of Palestine versus Israel. Like everything is so black and white, but like you could do both, you know?
Yeah.
You could
You can say that these people are being abused, but we also don't appreciate the fact that they have some of the highest numbers of the populations of Muslim populations, period, supporting the execution of gay people.
Yeah, and ex-Muslims, for example. Like you don't get, it's hard to get this much popular support for some of the worst Sharia-based laws in Islam. Like you don't, it's hard to get the numbers like that even in countries like Saudi Arabia, Egypt. Like Palestinians have like on so many of these numbers they top everybody, right? So it's really horrible the views that average Palestinians have on women, on gay rights, on apostates, on blasphemy. It's really, really bad, and it's and you could still say like, hey, Israel, maybe they did this here. And also when it comes to Israel, also it's not black and white, right? But you could say like, oh, what Israel did here is horrible without denying stuff like this, right? But again, people are so binary that they have to pick a side and they become blind to the problems. Again, one thing you can see in the West Bank compared to Gaza is that there seems to be a lot more growth. I'm hoping, maybe I'm being again too optimistic, when it comes to activism that is beyond just anti-Israeli activism. You know what I mean? Like activism in the West Bank when it comes to economy, women rights, free speech, stuff like that. Like there seems to be some more development of institutions that is working on making Palestinian lives better rather than just blaming Israel for all their problems, right? In Gaza, I don't know. I mean, Gaza is under Hamas, so at least like the West Bank is under Fatah. I mean, they're still horrible. I mean, they're all horrible, but Hamas is like a completely different animal compared to the Fatah. But yeah, let me see what the live chat is saying about this.
Yeah, I thought it was wild. According to a medical report, she had bruises all over her back.
Wow.
And yeah, she said that she doesn't feel safe in Gaza anymore. She said, quote, "I'm looking for any opportunity outside of Gaza. I'm a journalist and I love journalism, but Gaza isn't the place for me to continue."
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her. Unfortunately, she has one of the worst passports in the world. So it's going to be hard for her to leave.
Well, and also, there was the recently passed basically bringing male guardianship rules into the area. And then after outrage, they say that they're going to like amend these rules, but that's not entirely clear. So like male guardianship may or may not be coming to the region. And it was some analysts say that it may be because they want to inhibit women from gaining economic opportunities outside of the area in places like, for example, Israel.
You know, the entire solution to this is the same solution to Pakistan, which is one state solution, right? So Pakistan will only get solved if it falls apart and India comes and reclaims it, right? Jesus. And Gaza and the West Bank also will only get solved if Israel fails to become a Jewish state and they stop treating Arabs like second-class citizens, and it becomes one country for Jews and Arabs with one law for everyone and equal rights for everyone. And
I thought you were a Zionist.
I am a Zionist. I say this as a Zionist.
Okay.
Yeah, a Zionist. I'm a Zionist based on the definition of Zionism. That means Israel should be a country. That doesn't mean it has to be an ethno state.
No, I was just thinking about like how some people say that arguing for a one-state solution is actually anti-Semitic. Like they actually argue that
No.
because it would
Okay,
make
no. Saying
Jewish
and
people the minority and at risk.
no, saying that a one-state solution is anti-Semitic is anti-Semitic because it's suggesting that Jewish people can't live with Arabs, and that is anti-Semitic. So, right?
Yeah, well, it was more about demographic
Reverse
imbalance.
Uno reverse card. I did that on you. No,
Hey,
but
I'm not saying it's my argument. It's just something I've heard.
No, I'm just. By the way, this is going to be inevitable at some point. Like it's not going to. But I'm like people are like, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" Or like, you're not going to do anything. This is going to be forced on Israel. Like, what are you going to do? There's more Arabs between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. Right now, there's more Arabs right now than Jews. You cannot, and the status quo. I know people want to keep the status quo going for forever. It's impossible. At some point, you cannot have this current situation lasting forever, right? The two-state solution has become impossible thanks to Netanyahu. And I know that the Israeli government will never want a one-state solution because then the Jews become the minority. But it's not going to be about what they want. It's going to be about what it's going to be forced upon them. They're going to force this upon themselves because they made the two-state solution impossible. You're not going to be able to maintain an apartheid state forever. At some point, these people are going to be high enough that the world view on Israel is going to change so much that you're going to be forced to recognize the Arabs as equal citizens under one country, and at that point, Jews will become minorities in Israel. So you are forcing the end of Israel as an ethno state upon yourself by making the two-state solution impossible. It's going to happen. It's just we just don't know when. It could is it going to be in our lifetime or not? We don't know. But it will. There's no other way out unless you manage to maintain an apartheid state forever. Right. So.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
hang in there, lady, for another 50 years, maybe.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm 26. I want to be a successful journalist. I'm getting out of Gaza. Thank you very much.
Yeah, guys, if you want to reach out to her, see what you could do for her. Just look up her name. And link in the articles in the description as always. Anything in the live chat that you want to highlight?
No, Narumi thinks that India and Pakistan should collapse into ethno-states for prosperity, and I think that's insane.
No.
So anyways.
Wow.
That's what's going on in the live chat. I'm going to move on.
Wait, let me prepare the last art. I know this is not coming yet, but I'm just going to prepare it just so that we have it, okay? Let me just make sure that I have it ready because the last news is about one of our art, right?
Yes.
All right. I do have it ready. Okay.
Katie is saying no to ethno-states. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Katie. All right.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie. Can we no?
Yes, we can.
Oh, we can?
Yes.
Next news, finally. Yay! You know what? A lot of clap for next news. All right.
Because it's adorable. I saw this news and I knew what we had on the docket this week, and I was like, guys, we're covering this, okay?
Okay. Next news.
2 Indian frogs married in a ritual to please rain god. So this is it's kind of wholesome. I kind of love it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love it. Okay, I'll show you guys the video of this in a second. In Western Tripura, tribal tea garden workers recently arranged a wedding for 2 frogs in a ritual known as Bangar Bie, or frog wedding. The amphibian couple tied the knot with poise after taking a dip in the river and dressed in elegant wedding clothes. In a video, the frogs can be seen getting married as two women hold them up. Following Hindu wedding traditions, the frogs swapped garlands, following which the male toad put vermilion or sindoor on the female frog's forehead to signify her as his wife. According to the reports, the custom is done to appease Lord Indra, the Hindu god of rain. By getting the frogs married,
Indra, the Yahweh of Hinduism.
By getting the frogs married, the villagers wish to please the rain god to ensure good rainfall, which will preserve their tea gardens from drought. And then this is some background. In May 2019, two frogs were married in Karnataka's Udupi to ensure good rainfall. However, the frogs were later divorced within 2 months of the marriage because of excessive rainfall.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
God. It worked too well. Guys, it's too much. Indra, it's too much. You gotta stop. We asked for rain, but not this much rain. This is great. We needed this. This is great. Like divorce. It worked too well. Undo the spell.
I love this. Okay, guys, I have they're like
divorce.
The rabbit atheists, and they seem so happy together. They're like, we made Indra too happy, we gotta make him unhappy. But I have the video of the wedding here. Hey, let me blow this up. I just love this. See, you can see her holding it and like putting it so that he's rubbing. Look at, you can see the red on her face.
No,
he's putting the vermilion
so
on
in
her
those
face.
outfits.
Yeah, look it.
I hope this is not abuse to them.
She's got a little miniature sari on.
I mean, they're feeding them at all, so I should be fine. I'm pretty sure they're better off than other frogs. Oh, they look so cute in those outfits. I never thought frogs can be cute, but apparently they can. I'm just imagining them like having such a good life, and the husband comes home one day and says, like, honey, they're divorcing us. And she's like, but why? We're so happy together.
Oh, no.
And he's like, apparently our marriage is bringing too much rain. Like,
our marriage is so good, it's making people too happy.
Like, but babe, we're so good together. Why are they doing this to get to us? Yeah, this is actually animal abuse. You made them fall in love, and now you're separating them. Holy crap! This is such a heartbreak. Yeah. No.
Bjorn is saying, checkmate, atheists.
Wow. Okay, so Indra really likes frogs marrying, I guess. Wait, so Indra is the god of rain and also the god of war in how do you say this is like, okay, so I know the gods that are popular right now are not as popular as when Hinduism as we know it today got canonized. So this is like an older god compared to. I mean, it was it's still in the Vedas. Like Indra and Agni are mentioned in the Vedas, but they just became less popular because how badass Shiva was. People looked at Shiva and Vishnu and be like, and Indra become less popular. Oh yeah, just like Jesus was so popular that Yahweh is like, Christians don't talk about Yahweh that much. Indra, the god Indra, is so much like Yahweh in so many ways. Isn't Yahweh also the god of rain? Didn't he take that away from Baal? Yeah.
I don't know.
So Yahweh is like both the god of war and rain in in Jewish religion, and Indra in Hinduism is the god of war and rain in Hinduism. It's like it's a mirror. It's basically a Yahweh copy. I mean, I know it's not a copy. They were made independently, but it's so amazing. And also, Yahweh became less popular when a cooler god showed up, like Jesus. Indra became less popular when a cooler god showed up, like Shiva. It's so similar. We should make like a Yahweh Indra blasphemous art. Hold on, let me see what Katie is saying about all this. They were popular during the Vedic times. They are less popular in the Puranas. Yes. Even after the Vedic time, they were still a little bit popular. The Puranas is the time when were written at the time where the whole world was going through changing their religion from focusing on changing the world to changing the world to focus on internal matters. And they were like rethinking how much sacrifice to Agni and Indra could actually affect real life. So they wanted to shift the ideology. It's amazing. Both in Persia, in Greek, everywhere in Israel, everywhere in the world, religion took a turn to focus internally rather than externally. In India as well. So there was a shift from the Vedic scripture to the Puranas in India as well, just like everywhere else. The Greek was focusing on basically religions between the 200, between 800 to 200 BC. Religion around the world made a shift from focusing on how could I make the gods do this for me in this world to religions and philosophies turning into some self-help. Individual. They became more individual based and turned into self-help. And how I could like, oh, the world doesn't matter. How could I become better internally? Like that's how the shift happened. Everywhere in the world at the same time. It's amazing. Anything else you want to highlight in the comments before we go to the blasphemous art?
I just want to say that I am open to being an officiant to any frog weddings in my area. Please let me know if you need an officiant. I would love some. I would love some little frog weddings. That's adorable. But I will not tolerate the divorce. How dare we split up this happy couple?
True. By the way, the Rig Veda is the oldest Veda, right? Am I right? Rig Veda is, I think,
not as knowledgeable.
I'm asking Katie. Rig Veda is the oldest.
Well, how am I supposed to know that?
But what? I'll organize. Oh, here. I'll organize a frog marriage. We need rain in Kolkata so bad. We're getting boiled by the heat. Only rain can relieve us. Be careful. Make sure you don't eat the frogs, so you have them available for divorce if the rain gets too much. Ghost Bunny saying, "Hey Susie, thanks for giving us a silver of happiness after the soul-crushing news you threw at us." Yes.
Sorry about it, but the frog wedding turned it around, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm fascinated. Yeah, see, guys, are you not impressed? Are you not impressed? I'm not an ex-Hindu. I'm not an ex-Hindu, and I know that the Rig Veda is the oldest Veda. Are you guys not impressed?
Come at me. Come at him, Dutva.
Yes. Anyways, okay. Last news.
Last news. Blasphemous art portrays Jordan Peterson embracing the devil.
Right. Look at this.
So this is a creation from Armin's mind.
And our artist.
Yes.
She makes it, like, every time I imagine it, it doesn't look as good. Like, she always makes it better than what I imagine. So that's great.
Yeah, she did a killer job on the composition. But you have, like, basically a 5-paragraph essay you wrote about this art and the symbolism of this art.
Yes. I don't know if you want to go through that right now, do we? Because a lot of people completely misunderstood what we're trying to do here, what we're trying to show. Yeah. By the way, a lot of people got so butthurt over this.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I didn't know Jordan Petersonism is a thing. Like, people were so butthurt. Like, they worship this man like a god. Like, the triggering. Like, I think like it was getting up to Hindutva level butthurt. That's how bad it got.
Did we get threats?
No, it
Okay,
didn't get that bad. No, it's not that bad. But I'm exaggerating.
File police reports against
I'm exaggerating.
Then it's not that bad.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating.
Did we get our banned from any platforms because of this? No,
I'm
exaggerating. Not that
bad. But there was a heavy supply of salt. Okay, it was just there was a heavy supply of there was a lot of salt. Okay. Katie's saying so many atheists were also butthurt. Yeah, they were so butthurt. It's amazing.
Can you tell me about this butthurt? Because I was not like aware of this really at all.
Let me just show maybe 2 of them on my wall. You know, people didn't even read. Look, okay, so this is my Facebook wall, and I shared it from the Blasphemous Arts Facebook page, right? So this is our explanation of what this is about, right? So the symbolism and what the message is going to be, why we drew Jordan Peterson submitting to the devil. We had like
embracing the devil.
Embracing the devil. We have like a very interesting and detailed explanation here. Do we want to read it for people or no? But
well, I mean, I don't blame him for not paying attention to the mini dissertation you wrote.
All right, but I made it so that the first paragraph will explain pretty much everything so that they don't have to read the rest of it, right? Yes. But look at this. Look at the butthurt here. The Tana say, you want to read it? Oh, here. Read it.
Give me the zoom. Oh, okay. Vitan is saying, thanks. You just made him more famous. Free marketing is the best. By the way, if every day you were looking more and more desperate, no one is giving an F about you anymore. Stop being pathetic and start a real job. You didn't invest in any skills, right? What's on your CV? Hi, I'm an atheist. Ha 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 ha.
I can literally taste the tears. I can literally it's just the crying I can hear the crying from over here, from behind the screen, and I can taste the tears in my mouth while I'm reading this, right? But look here, he at the end it's very funny.
My goodness.
He keeps saying,
you actually went back and forth with these people.
Yeah, no, because they don't know. They actually help with the art, because when somebody comes, they help with the engagement. So if you respond to them, they keep coming back. And then I noticed that when I find the people who get butthurt on the art, so like, and then respond to them, the engagement on the whole thing increases a lot. So I need to find some butthurt and respond to it. That's how most people notice the art. You just need one person to get butthurt enough to make a comment, and then you respond to them, and then the back and forth, people come to watch the back and forth, and the entire engagement on the post becomes like really a lot higher. Look, at the end he says that he hopes that Jordan Peterson sues me. Look, read this one.
I hope ... that he will be able to sue your ass for this, because you used him without his permission. No matter the context, that would teach you a lesson.
Wait, there was another one. There was another butthurt one. Oh, here. Look at this one. This person's saying, "Why are you attacking Professor Peterson?" It's like, you know what? We criticize him. This is not. Why do people think like making art of somebody is attacking them? Like how? Like what does this mean? Like we didn't even make them look bad. We draw them, and we draw them in their best. Like we make them look good, and we're like, why are you attacking them? And look, he's like, because he's running out of targets. Actually, we have more. Like the number of ideas we have right now, our artists cannot keep up. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. So with this guy, I gave him a butthurt cream. Yeah. Okay, so let's just read the first paragraph so people understand the meaning behind this art. Hold on. Just the first paragraph should be fine.
Okay. Jordan Peterson doesn't recognize the mythological archetype that accurately represents his story arc. In ancient and modern myths, gods and prophets represent new orders, and those who such order keeps in control. Peterson was recently depicted as the villain Red Skull in recent Marvel comics, an allegory for the devil. Marvel heroes are one of the new pantheons in modern myths. Peterson often highlights the role of myths in the way societies are shaped and individual roles are defined. Well, modern mythology has determined that Peterson is the devil. We think this provides an opportunity for us rebels to highlight our place in these myths. We don't believe our stories as devils, demons, witches, and villains have been told fairly, given the bias of those who would like to maintain control have towards rebels.
Yeah, and the explanation goes on. If you want to see the full explanation, just go to blasphemousart.com. You can see here's the URL, and the explanation continues, keeps going. We talk about mythology. Basically, it's a response to Jordan Peterson's defense of Christianity and using Jesus as an archetype to be used as a role model, and how we disagree with him, and what we're trying to do with Blasphemous Art, using because the way Jordan Peterson looks at mythology in Christianity, he makes it seem like there's some objective truths that is hidden within Christianity and other mythologies that has the hero journey within them, that speaks to some objective truths about reality, even if the religions are not true, and he's not sure if they're true or not. But even if they're not, they are speaking to something that is within the fabric of the universe, and they're being reflected in these stories, right? So we really like myths, and we do think that myths tell us stories about humanity, and it's worth analyzing to see what they say about humanity. However, we don't think myths tell us the messages that these myths have hidden within them is not as objective and not so inherent within the fabric of reality as Jordan Peterson seems to suggest. We think that it does speak to human nature, and there's a lot to be learned from it. But we also think that there's also a lot of subjective, but there's a lot of bias within these stories, and a lot of these stories have been influenced by politics and power plays between different groups. It's not as if these stories are objectively true. We don't think we should dismiss these stories, because even if they are biased, even though, if you look at the history of what got canonized in the Bible, you can see that it's a lot about politics. It's a lot about who wants to be able to control the narrative. It's not a bunch of people who got together and decided that, oh yeah, let's try to find the secrets of the universe and how to run society and how to be moral and put it in the Bible. It was not like that at all. But okay, does that make the Bible and other myths not valuable? No, because finding out the stories behind why these myths were written is still valuable, but not in the way Jordan Peterson suggests. And we think the fact that it becomes so obvious that this is the case, because Jordan Peterson is somebody that constantly uses modern myths like Pinocchio and Peter Pan as other myths that are very useful, right? So he doesn't just think like ancient myths are myths that are useful, and even Harry Potter, right? He also thinks that the fact that these myths are popular, even in modern times, speaks to that objective reality about our nature, that we should take them seriously. Well, Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, we see now that Marvel, the Ta-Nehisi Coates, who's now a writer of Marvel, who's basically a modern myth-making writer, has decided
in
that
more ways than one.
Yes, has decided that you, in the modern myth, represent evil. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
what does that say about how myths are created, Jordan Peterson? Like, because he doesn't, initially he didn't like it, and now he's just like accepting it as something to be made fun of, but he doesn't agree with it. So if he doesn't agree with it, then shouldn't that highlight something for him when it comes to these myths? Like, if you can see, you are seeing how the sausage is made in real time, right? So given that this is how people make the modern, like the Marvel superheroes are the pantheon of our time, given that you can see how they are being created, shouldn't that give you pause about how much value you put in ancient myths? If the bias and the politics and the power play exists today, don't you think the people who were writing the story of Jesus or selecting which stories of Jesus to put in the Bible and not put in the Bible, don't you think
Mhm.
similar politics and power play were happening at that time?
The
Don't
politics
you?
of what ideology they're trying to push by
Exactly.
framing certain ideas and certain characteristics as villainous.
Exactly. Perfectly said. Um, and so, what myths represent to us is not like secrets to the nature of our instincts, and it teaches us about who gets. It does say that, but it also teaches us about who gets to set what narrative and how in history, right? Sometimes the stories, like sometimes we don't have the record of which people were doing what, but the stories tell the story of the storytellers with
Yes.
indirectly. Like, you could go find these stories, and the stories that were written tell us about the politics of the people who were writing them, even though we don't have a direct report of the people who were writing them. That's how valuable these myths become in this way, right? The stories are more interesting because there are stories about real events. Even though the stories are fiction, they tell us the people behind the curtain, the people who are writing, they're deciding that, oh, like Jesus could be a puppet, the devil could be a puppet. We're interested in looking at the Jesus puppet and the devil puppet and look and see what we can tell about the puppet master from
Mhm.
the puppets.
Mhm.
That's what we're trying to do. um, and also, given how subjective and how flexible the nature of these myths are, we think that this provides us an opportunity, okay? Because we think that we get to come in, we get to step in, because given that these myths are not set in stone, they're not hardwired in, they're not like so, they're not about, they're not the fabric of the goddamn universe, as the way Jordan Peterson seems to think. It's basically about people setting the narrative that they want, the stories that they want to tell. We, an Atheist Republic, we say, like, well, we could come and change the myth and tell our own stories, right? And we can look at the people, because the people that eventually became orthodox, the people that eventually decided what's canon and what's not, are the people that represent the order, represent who is in power and who is not, right? And the people who are not in power are the people who don't like the way things are, or want to change it, or want to progress, or either for good or for bad. And some rebels are good, some rebels are bad, but they are represented in these mythologies as the demons, the devils, the witches. And given that we the atheists, the blasphemers, the ex-Muslims, the heretics, we are those people. We
Mhm.
are what the devil is supposed to represent, or Iblis is supposed to represent, right? Or
Well, the
Dajjal is
rebel.
supposed to yeah. We could come and, like, well, we don't want, we can, given how flexible these myths are, we could come in and we could tell our own story. We could take the devil and re-examine the story, relook at the story, and change the story the way we like our story to be written. We could tell our own story. We don't have to let people tell our story. We could tell our own story. And we could look at the devil as the person that came and suggested to Eve that knowledge, the fruit of knowledge, shall not kill you. It will only make you like God. We could make God represent order or the limitations of nature, if you want to go pantheistic with it, right? Um, And we could say, like, we don't have to accept the stories that are written from us or the limitations that tradition or nature has forced upon us. Through knowledge, through understanding how nature works, we could free ourselves from the limitations of nature. Through understanding how societies could work better, we could free ourselves from the chains of tradition. And these chains of tradition is, in our stories, is represented by the tyranny of gods, or the chains of nature on death, on how much food we can get out of the ground, is also represented to us by the tyranny of gods, right? So either, if you want to look at it from a pantheistic perspective, or gods representing tyranny of societies that are against progress, conservatism. Either way, what the fruit of knowledge represents for us is a scientific based understanding of the world, where the devil is coming at and freeing us from the chains of God, for us to free ourselves from death, from disease, from hunger, and from traditionalism and conservatism. That's what the devil represents to us, and that's how we can rewrite the story. In the same way that if the fruit of knowledge from a biblical perspective represents knowledge, from a more Greek perspective, we could see the Prometheus's fire to represent technology, right? Because, I mean, fire was the first technology of mankind, other than some basic tools, I guess. But the fact that that was stolen from God by Prometheus and given to mankind is so perfectly reflects the devil giving knowledge to humans as a way to freedom from gods. And that's what this whole art is supposed to represent. Right.
Yeah, so moral of the story is that Jordan Peterson should just embrace his role as the devil.
Yeah. I mean, he is, for better or for worse, on the side of the people who's rebelling against what the traditional narrative is right now. So instead of accepting Jesus as the
representative of order,
yeah, he should accept the devil instead. That's what we're suggesting with this art. And also, you can see, by the way, guys, the patrons have the access to the not safe for work version of this art, where the devil is butt naked, and Jesus is not a skull. This is Jesus' skull here. Usually, the patron version, the skull is actually Jesus's head. We don't know if that's a Patreon likes that. So we don't know if Facebook and Twitter and likes that. That's why we turn Jesus into a skull every time we have the social media. On Patreon, this is safe. So if you're a newsletter subscriber, you get the safe for work version of our art. Again, subscribe to our newsletter. Link in the description. Every time we make an art, and we have new art every single week. Every single week we have new art. If you're a newsletter subscriber, you get art like this. The safe for work version of it is sent to you for free. But if you're a patron, you get the not safe for work version. And guys, when we make not safe for work version of art, if people are alive, we never make a not safe for work version of them. Okay?
Yeah, if public figures, no.
Yeah, if public figures, like the only people that become like when there's ever a nudity involved
are not real people.
Yeah, the devil is butt naked. Like we're not gonna make Jordan Peterson like naked or anything like that, right? And also, again, people are saying, "Oh my God, why are you attacking Jordan Peterson? Look how good he looks." We put him in a suit, and even the not safe for work version, he looks exactly the same in the not safe for work version. The beard, like his face looks good.
It's a very good depiction of him.
It's a very good depiction of them. I don't know why
it's not like he's made to look like ugly or mean or anything. He's just like praying to the devil.
Yeah, and also shout out to our artists.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Crazy composition. I love it.
Yes. So that was this. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter
and to the channel.
Subscribe to our YouTube if you are watching us on Facebook, and subscribing to our newsletter. Link in the description is
Dharma. It's Hikmah, and it's kosher.
That's right. All right, guys.
Do it now.
Do it now. Link in the description. Bye, guys. Oh, yeah. Good stream. Yay. Thank you.